please put your virtual hand up. There's a button at the bottom saying raise hand, and ask some questions of Professor Singh or of Claudia Police, who's still in the Zoom, or Emerentia Murapi, or Dr. Madima.
There does seem to be a question in the Q&A from Ronald, who says, what are your thoughts on securing rare earth elements required as inputs for manufacturing magnets in robotics and a host of other 4IR technologies?
Indeed.
Not a question that I can answer. Maybe somebody else.
Okay. Is there someone on the panel who would like to answer that question?
Well, I think there's always opportunity for technology to assist with any kind of process in manufacturing. I'm just giving a very generic response here, because in the manufacturing sector, most of your processes can be automated, which is why there's so much of redundancy and you find job loss in the manufacturing sector. So if you can train the technology to find that rare earth element that you're speaking about, I'm assuming you're talking about, for example, mining diamonds and those kind of things. It can be done, but then what about the other issues that you need to think about is, if a machine is going to be doing this, how are you going to provide the security for that earth element if it is mined? And once it is found, how are you going to keep it secure so that it can go into the manufacturing process? Just, that's just something I'm thinking about as we're speaking right now. But there might be other panelists who are more specialized in manufacturing sector who could probably add more value to them.
Yeah, thanks for that. Prof. Police, would you like to answer that?
This is actually a complex one, because I'm honestly not an expert on rare element at all. I tend to work obviously more for titanium, but what I've seen in the recent past with colleagues, we try to always look for alternative material, alternative alloys. So every time that we actually face we embark in a solution, it seems to require a specific type of material. We also looking in terms of, sometimes even geopolitical issues on label, where actually the material is coming from. And we try to sort and explore alternative material can maybe from different situations that can actually be used as a potential alternative. So that one, that there is, I mentioned before, my colleagues are working with hard material and cutting insert. For example, they exploring material through with Brazilian colleagues, or through obviously different type of network, to replace some of these rare elements that they were struggling with.
Oh, that's very interesting. Yes, I always thought it was not negotiable that certain elements needed to be used.
There are possibilities. Maybe sometimes there's a compromise. Maybe the performance is not as great with the best material that you can find, but in case of need, even in a recent condition that we are, for example, for titanium, we rely a lot with, let's say, provider, if you want, or mining solution that coming from a certain part of the world. And if that source is obviously not available, even for aeronautical solution, we always try to have, making sure that you have an alternative.
Right. Let's hear from Gwen Foster.
Thank you very much indeed. This has been a phenomenal couple of days, and I look forward to progressing the discussion. Where I'm coming from, I specialize in traceability and market access. So we talk about data being the oil of the future. We talk about data being the gold, etc., etc., etc. But the reality is that it's cross-cutting and it needs to be interchanged. So that is very much where my focus is. The other reality is with climate change and with international regulations relating to sustainability, such as EUDR, as an example. America's got theirs. Many countries have got their own access barriers, if you like. It's vital that we look at the standard. And it's also vital that we go down to grassroots level, because climate data, for instance, where you get a conflict between expanding agriculture and the impact on biodiversity, that is at ground level. So the people who are recording data must basically have a license to do that. And that is youth. And it ties in with so many of the recommendations. The issue I have with science, with projects, is that the people who do the science and the projects do not have the mandate to implement. So that's where I'm coming from. I'm thrilled with what is here. We've got the incubators. It's all happening now. We're dealing with the Americans and we're dealing with the people in the East. We've got global activities happening. It's a key to say, how do we marry these, match these, and I'd like to take that offline. But I just want to say, absolutely exciting, very clearly presented. It now comes down to the so what, how do we make it work? And that's where I'd like to pick up.
Thank you very much for that, Gwen. Saeed Mohammed. Yes, Saeed, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you very much. I must second the last speaker. This has been a wonderful 2 days, very empowering and very informative. I really enjoyed and you know, so one quick question here is I know Rian must have mentioned that now the 4IR is moving, or maybe the world's moving towards the 5th and the 6th. So I wonder if South Africa and Africa at large has benefited the 4IR. How can we measure whether South Africa, as I said, or Africa has effectively benefited from the 4th industrial revolution before fully embracing the 5th and the 6th? That's one question. The other one is SIPA, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the last presenter on breaching the digital divide. She spoke very interestingly, an area I am quite really interested, and I don't know if her email can be shared. She spoke the humanistic phase of 4IR. For many people around the world, around South Africa, 4IR is a myth, is something far unreachable. So she brought it into very understandable. Yes, and I must thank that. So yeah, that's my question, and I must thank the National Science and Technology Forum for bringing this together, and all the presenters, and everyone was really fantastic. And thank you. As the MC, you have done a wonderful work. Thank you.
Thank you, Saeed. Thank you very much indeed. Siba, would you like to respond?
Sure. My email address is sibatleng@mintech.co.za. So you can reach out to me there, and then we can definitely talk further. But I'm still doing my master's, so I don't have like high level speciality knowledge. These are just topics that I'm pretty interested in myself, so I'm still in the research phase of everything, but I do see the potential of how this could be integrated into the health space in South Africa, how it could be integrated into the mining and especially like agriculture and transport, because all the journals and reports that are by government sectors, they're covering those 4 major sectors because that's what they're currently trying to optimize most important.
Yes. Thank you, Siba. Mankwe has put your email address in the chat. Okay, Maureen Maube, what are the practical or grassroots challenges that exclude females in technology that you've identified, Dr. Singh? Dr. Singh, are you still there?
I doubt it. She had to leave at 1:30.
Oh, okay. Right. If there are no further questions, and do interrupt me, then I'll try and give an overview of today, which will be extremely hard, but I will do my duty. So first of all, I want to remind you that we heard from Ms. Emerentia Murabi, who is still in the Zoom, and she spoke about cybersecurity laws and human-centric privacy, safeguarding people in the digital age. And that sentiment came back very nicely with Professor Upasana Singh, who was talking about human centricity and the need to take the human being into account in this era of 4IR. Then we have Professor Claudia Pulis, who gave us a lightning tour through the very technical aspects of laser technologies for aerospace advancement and capacity building in Africa, as well as material science and the wider applications of them. Of course, where the 4IR comes in there is with laser technologies, lightning fast innovation and manufacturing, and it making use of just all the tools that are available, including 3D printing and additive manufacturing. So we had a great contrast between the first and the second presentation. Then Professor Kumbulani Mpofu came in, and he spoke about manufacturing in the transport industry. And with that, there was we could think further about manufacturing as such and skills development as well. So picking up from the first presentation, he is from the Tshwane University of Technology, and he spoke about rail manufacturing. Well, he's also Rail Manufacturing Center for Entrepreneurship Rapid Incubator. So that was very interesting. He's hearing from another institution about manufacturing research. Then we had Professor Sarah Grobler, who spoke about innovation systems analysis, taking a bit of a step back, looking at the system from the outside, and analyzing what happens in innovation and how innovations can be assessed. Very interesting, quite technical presentation, but more looking at a systemic approach or a systems approach to the whole landscape. Then we had Dr. Tizwilondi Madima, and she spoke about indigenous knowledge, recycling resources, indigenous agriculture in the age of 4IR. And I think that theme came back of having a human-focused approach that doesn't neglect the very urgent issues of food security and the acknowledgement of indigenous knowledge as well, and meeting people where they are. I think she was pleading for recycling as well, for a circular economy, and I think a return to the soil, to the basics. So that was very interesting. Then we had Professor Rian Stopforth, and he spoke about a required change in mindset for an industrial revolution in South Africa, particularly from the robotics point of view. And I think that the major thing he was saying was we need to work together. There needs to be collaboration within the system, and that without it, we won't get far. Then we had Ms. Siba Ngwenya from Mintech, and she was talking about policy incentives and regulatory sandboxes, making quite a strong case for the need for regulatory sandboxes where innovations can be tested out before being subjected to regulation. So testing the regulation before the regulation is implemented. So that brought us back to the policy environment. And then finally we had Professor Upasana Singh, who spoke about the need for human-focused technology and stories of hope, and needing connectivity for everyone. She spoke quite a lot on the inequality in our society, and whether the 4IR isn't deepening the divide instead of bridging it. But she gave a lot of very interesting suggestions and examples of initiatives that are bridging that divide. So that is, in a nutshell, what happened today. We will be having a synthesis of the 2 days, picking up the themes from the various presentations, and hopefully presenting it in a form that we can actually take forward, publicize, and take up with decision makers all over the place. Any final burning questions? Would you like a final word, presenters?
I may.
Yes. Welcome back, Amarisha.
Thank you. So thank you for the opportunity. It was really great. Bringing about some insights, being surrounded by a whole lot of scientists and engineers, and obviously being the one with the legal eagle here. And I especially enjoyed Siba's presentation when she talked about for PAs there to protect data privacy, but that data might be needed one day for innovation, and it could hinder innovation, which is already quite interesting. Like, it sparked something inside of me. I'm like, is it data privacy versus innovation? Because I love innovation. but I also love protecting people's data. So, Siva,
Yes.
maybe me, you, and I should have like a coffee or something and discuss that, or even write a paper. Who knows, you know? But
No,
also,
I'd like that.
definitely.
Yes.
That's amazing. I learned a lot from that. Thank you so much. And I would appreciate the NSTF as well, Yanti and Mankwe, for the opportunity. And it was great engaging with a lot of the speakers and learning so much in terms of AI and innovation from the people who work in the field instead of the people like me who are just consumers. And I really resonated with Professor Singh when she says that Africans should start also being creators and not just consumers of data and being part of the fourth industrial revolution and creating and not just consuming. And I'm a huge advocate for that. I believe in African advancement and not just consuming what is produced from the European side, but creating it and showing the world that Africans are innovative and they are smart. And the stories I heard from her regarding the students who creating such wonderful apps, it was really amazing. So I really appreciate getting all of these knowledge from these big professors and doctors and Professor Police, yeah, who's helping us out a lot. I'm not a math scientific person, but I learned a few things and I really do appreciate this opportunity. Thank you.
Fantastic. I'm so glad that we can bring people from different disciplines together, and even vastly different disciplines, so that they can enrich each other. And, we all have our different specialities, and it's important to work together, to quote someone who spoke. Rian. Very important to collaborate together. Siba, would you like to respond?
I'm appreciating the opportunity to connect with everyone who was interested in my presentation. I'm looking forward to hearing from them. Please don't forget to email me. I know some, people get busy and we forget to do the things that were interesting to us in the split second. So yeah, but I'm really grateful for the opportunity, and yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Siba. Thank you for your presentation and interaction. Claudia, Prof. Police.
Hi. I mean, it was fantastic. To be honest, this one is my first NSTF discussion forum. So I really, really enjoy. So you see, I try to stay till the end, but I found it very interesting. As Rachel pointed out, it's basically a great way to see what other people are doing. I think we actually not doing enough for this. But as Siba say, we are super busy. We try to focus on our things, but there is actually a lot of potential across, especially when we talk in advanced technology. That all these aspects they should be integrated: the legal aspect, the technology aspect, engineer, physicists, economists. So it's really what we need. It's a team to actually making things happen.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. I'm very glad you enjoyed it and that you stayed the whole day. Thank you very much indeed.
Still a long day. It's not finished.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tizwilondi.
I had a very insightful day since yesterday. The forum, the discussion forum was very insightful for me. When I was looking at how the presenters were presenting since yesterday, I learned a lot, more especially because IKS is multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary. I find a lot of spaces where IKS can navigate and have some solutions in some of the problems that were raised yesterday and even today. Thank you so much. The discussion was well orchestrated and organized. Thank you for the organizers.
Right. Yes, Saeed Mohammed, you've got your hand up. Your question in the chat. Yes.
Maybe Claudia or someone can answer my question, please.
I can attempt to answer it. I think
welcome.
I think South Africa hasn't benefited from the 4IR yet. I think it's there are pockets of excellence where 4IR technologies are being employed, and then there are further pockets where the benefit is actually shared. But it's by no means general at the moment. We're not ready to move on to another industrial revolution. That's my take on it. The world is moving from the 4-hour to the 5th and the 6th.
I think we are. I just feel like we underestimate our capabilities, especially as like African nations. But we very much are, and there has been a lot of contributions that South Africa is making into the fourth industrial space. I mean, just looking at a small space like Cape Town and all the innovations that are coming out of Cape Town and that sort of stuff, you can see that there's a lot of creativity, there's a lot of drive, there's also a lot of innovation that is happening in that area. And I mean, we wouldn't be talking about these things in meetings like BRICS and those sort of like societies if we weren't already ready to jump ship from where we are. Because, you know, I think for us, like the way that I see things, so long as the opportunity is given, South Africans will take it.
Wonderful. I'm so glad you disagree with me, Siba. Gwen Foster.
You broke up. Could I come in very quickly?
Yes, please do.
Thank you. I think one of the key things and one of the key issues we have is the fact that we get changes in government structures, in departmental structures, and that breaks the continuity. We are not sharing the past experience. And here I'm talking specifically agriculture, I'm talking market access, I'm talking the fact that we go back to the use of technology in the 1990s, where South Africa in 1996 was acknowledged as #1 in the world for fruit exports to the EU using electronic data interchange. We have not carried that mindset forward, and we are not sharing that with the upcoming generation. So whilst I think we have huge potential, I go back to saying, so what, unless we can implement, and that is part of the focus, and we can pick up that discussion.
Thank you, Gwen. Right. I just want to refer you to the chat as a last note. If you want to make contact with any of the speakers, contact Ms. Mankwe Mojapelo at inquiries@nstf.org.za. And please have a look at the NSTF website and at your inbox. I hope our emails don't go to junk. But if you go to the website, you will find the information there. So on the event page, under the discussion forums, it's nstf.org.za, and you can also have a look at the YouTube channel. So you go to YouTube and just search for National Science and Technology Forum, and you will find the playlist of the presentations there.